Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy Jet Sanders here. And we're gonna do a little bit of predicting today, man. We got Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira coming up here, UFC 326, for the BMF title. And the way I do this, we're gonna talk about the co-main and the main event. And I'm gonna tell y'all who I think is gonna win. And we're gonna go ahead and talk about this shit now. Recently, on my picks, I ain't been doing too well. So, this might not be good for the people that I want to win. So, if I'm putting bad juju on you, I apologize. That's my fault. But anyways, don't mind the paint all over my shirt. I got a little busy at work today. Had to do some painting. But, it be like that sometimes. But anyways, let's get into it. So the first fight we're going to talk about is Caio Borralho versus Reinier the Ritter. Now, both these dudes are coming off of a loss. Borralho to Imavov, and then Reinier to Brendan Allen. So, Brendan Allen won that fight on late notice. Something that we do need to throw out there, that he did win that fight on late notice. And also Reinier the Ritter took that fight. I believe that was like the fourth or fifth fight within that year or something. And he was on a 4-fight win streak before he had lost that fight to Brendan Allen. He was making quite a bit of noise. He was looking real good. He stopped Bo Nickel's hype. He beat Kevin Holland and GM3. He beat GM3 in the third round, I believe it was. So he was making a name, and then he fought Robert Whittaker, and in that fight, that was the fight that I was thinking to myself that he might struggle a little bit more with the top level fighters or the top ranked guys. I feel like he kind of struggled with Robert in that fight. There was a couple times he got rocked and almost got knocked out in that fight. So, after that, I was kind of like, that's scary. Put him up against somebody who's got more power, more range. That's a scary matchup for him. And so after that win, he loses to Brendan Allen, who's a scrappy guy. Brendan Allen is a scrappy dude. And he was able to outwork him and outpace him and finished him. Or, well, I guess he finished himself since he couldn't go on, right? Or something like that. I don't remember. But I know he was gassed out. So, and now he's fighting Caio Borralho. Now, Caio, man, this dude, before his loss to Imavov, he was on a 7-fight win streak. And before we get too crazy off this, all right? That was a pretty good fight. That was a fun fight. If I remember correctly, it was a pretty good back and forth fight. I think Caio is a really good fighter. I think he just ran into Imavov, and it was a downhill for the fighting nerds that one time. Every fighting nerd was taking an L, and so it's just part of the game, bro. But it wasn't a bad showing. He still had a good fight with him. And even in that fight, he showed that he still belongs with the top. So when it comes to this matchup with him and Reinier, I think that Caio's going to win this fight. I think he can knock out Reinier the Ritter. I think if he can make it a scrappy fight, I think he can definitely knock out Reinier the Ritter. He's been in those wars. He's been in the back and forths. And Reinier struggled a little bit against Robert Whittaker. And, of course, he got finished by Brendan Allen. And Caio's one of those guys. He's going to go out there. He's going to scrap. He's not gonna play technical with you. He's also coming off a loss. He's the fighting nerds. Right now, his boys are coming back, so he needs this bounce back. So I'm going to give trust that Borralho will get it done. I'm gonna go for a third round TKO. TKO for Caio Borralho, and that would be sick. We'll see where that boosts him up. So maybe he fights the winner of Pyfer and Izzy. So next up, we got Max Holloway, the main event, Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira. Man, dude, you guys gotta understand, I'm a fan of both of these guys, and I think all of you guys are. We're all fans of these guys. We don't want to see these motherfuckers fight. We really don't want to see these dudes fight. We don't. Really. You know what it feels like? It feels like that picture of the wolf that's sitting there crying because his fucking wolf parents are arguing. That's how it feels right now, having to watch Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira fight right now. But as a fucking fan, I had to sit like that with when he had to fight Justin, when he had to fight Dustin. And, you know, luckily he won the last 2 fights against Dustin and Justin. And now he's fighting Charles. Before we get too far into it, though, his last loss was to Ilia Topuria. And after that, he had a fantastic showing against Dustin Poirier. You know, he looked stronger. He looked fast. His power's there, man. So I think lightweight Max is a different Max from featherweight. I think that the weight cut that he made from going from 155 fighting Gaethje to 145 to fighting Topuria drained him and maybe compromised him. But I will say he did get rocked by Dustin and by Justin. So and from what we've seen, man, fucking Charles can crack, dude. And he dropped Justin and Dustin, I believe. So I know that that's a scary one for Max when it comes to the power. But in my opinion, Charles, the only way to beat Max for him, I feel like, is shoot takedowns and kind of make it a boring fight. You know, you can have fun moments, but I wouldn't try too much because Max picks his shots very well. I think if Charles can fight him the way he fought Michael Chandler, where he was more grappler based, I think he has a better shot at beating Max Holloway. But knowing Charles Oliveira, he's not going to go in there and he's not going to have a fucking grappler game plan for Max Holloway. We've seen him practicing his stand-up, his point down. So that makes me worry for Charles a little bit, on the side of maybe getting knocked out because he's getting too confident, too comfortable. I think this fight will maybe make it to the 5th round. You know what? I think it can go the distance. I think there'll be moments where he could get rocked, but I think Charles can pull it off. I think not the win. I think he can pull off, like, if he gets rocked, I think he can bounce back. Like I think I'm gonna take Max to win, though. I'm gonna take Max to win. I think his volume punches, I think his striking and his takedown defense is a little bit better than like Gaethje's, but man, I am a little worried. I'm not gonna lie, I am a little worried because he can crack. Max Holloway, Charles can crack, so, you know, you can get caught. But I think the key for fucking Charles is to grapple, is to push the grappling onto Max, and Max is just gonna have to keep that range, work the stand-up, keep the volume going, pressure, heavy punches, heavy strikes, mixing it up to the body. And Charles, man, like I said, I'm a little worried for Charles, man. But I hope it goes the distance. I hope it's a full 5-round fight. And if it goes the full distance, I'm gonna take Max Holloway off of significant strikes and all-around damage. But man, this is such a tough one. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Max, bro. Fuck. I feel like I'm betraying Charles Oliveira by doing this though. Fuck. But anyways, that's it. That's all. I'm looking forward to UFC 326. I'm excited, you know, the full card. I'll do more predictions later on throughout the week for more fights on the card. But just want to do the co-main and the main before I do everything else, you know. And then, of course, fight day, we're going to do a final fight day prediction, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, until next time, peace.